evening. I call this meeting of the Board of Park Commissioners to order at 6:30. Grace, will you please take roll?
Alderperson Chandik Kuniger and Alderperson Essercon are excused. Alderperson Defnet Ledvina. Here. Randy Silky.
Here.
Jim Kneisel.
Here.
Elizabeth McMasters.
Here.
Connor Mason.
Here.
We have quorum. Excellent. Next on the list, number 2, public comment on matters not on the agenda. Comments made during the public comment period shall pertain only to matters under the jurisdiction of the Board of Park Commissioners. Is there anyone who wishes to address the Park Board on matters not on the agenda? It doesn't look like we have anyone in the virtual world, so. All right, moving on. Items. Number 1, consideration and possible action to approve the Board of Park Commissioners minutes from the August 21st, 2025 meeting.
Move to approve.
I'll second. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion carries. Item 2, 2026 budget discussion. Marty, do you want to prep us a little bit?
Yeah, I'll start by saying, the information that you have is what is submitted to our city manager and mayor for their consideration in developing the overall city budget. What I do so that it doesn't become too consuming is I do a cover sheet for you that kind of really breaks down just the bare and key points of the budget. So a long story short, the cover memo, since I sent it to you, there have been a couple of changes that I can share with you. So if you go through, so community center, not much has changed. Park administration, in that actual operational budget, the $25,000 for the design of the James Street Marina was eliminated. In the forestry budget, we had proposed out of request from Alderperson Hanson, we had a request from him to budget for a forestry incentive plan. So right now what we do is we get trees at a decent price. We pass that cost on to the resident. Alderperson Hanson's recommendation was to have trees cost $100, doesn't matter what the cost is. So the resident just pays a flat $100. The city subsidizes the rest. The cost of our trees are anywhere between $120 to $175, just depending. So that was taken out. And then in special events, there was a small decrease in that. We had proposed a halftime position that would allow us to run the beer gardens without consuming the staff that we have and allow us to grow a little bit. So that position was pulled out. So we kind of took out the numbers that we had in there that would provide for growth of our beer gardens. So those are the big ones from the operational standpoint. From the capital standpoint, I put a sheet on your desk there. I'll pull it up here. So what happened when the mayor and city manager, finance director went through the budget? They pulled out some, I guess for lack of better terms, no-brainer type of projects. So they pulled those out for funding. Then what they did is everything that was left, they kind of put off to the side and said, Marty, you have X amount of dollars to utilize. You go through your priorities and bring stuff back in to the fold. So that's what we did as staff. This was a very quick turnaround, so we did that. So the sheet that you have, the highlighted in green, unfortunately on the screen it's not highlighted in green, but in your sheet, the ones that are in green are ones that were not funded in the proposed budget. So in 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 10 different projects did not receive funding. If you do look at them, I would argue and say that all of them are not safety type issues. They're not issues that are filling a void, and some of them are brand new type. For instance, the pickleball. So that's a quick summary. I can go a lot more in depth if you would like. But the draft budget's been submitted. Somewhat is my understanding the executive budget has been drafted. I don't think we really have the opportunity to ask for a change now. But if there's anything that the park board feels strongly about, what I would do is I would pass that on to our city manager so that it can become a discussion item at the budget workshop.
Does anybody have questions for Marty about any of the items? Shayna?
Yeah, so you have a list in the agenda online, and then the list in front of us. How are those different?
So the list that was in your packet actually did not have any of the community center projects in it. So the sheet that you have on your desk and the one that's up on the screen has all of the projects that you have, including the ones from the community center. This one also shows you which projects are proposed to be funded and which are not.
And the highlighted ones are the ones that aren't.
Are not, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then on that note, the bike pad or the bike rack and pad at Nelson, I know I have asked in the past about like a temporary one being placed by the playground. Is there a way we can just put a temporary one in
Yeah,
place?
we do have some older bike racks that we can put out there.
Okay.
The main cost is the concrete pad.
Right.
So we can certainly do that. However, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but there is the opportunity at a later agenda item to try and fund some of these projects that didn't, lack of better phrases, didn't make the cut with the draft budget.
That was just one that stuck out to me because I thought you can just put one of those metal ones down and you're fine for the year. And
Yeah, ideally, we would like to put a concrete pad because then that way what happens is the bike rack doesn't end up in some other place or the Fox River, and then we also, if it becomes very, very used, which would be a great thing, well, then it becomes very, very muddy, dirt, and then it becomes a maintenance issue for us.
Okay.
So ideally, we would like to get a nice looking bike rack and a concrete pad.
okay. So
But we do have older ones that we could put out there if that's what it comes to.
And would it be right by the pavilion, or would it be in between the playground and the pavilion? Do you know?
Well, the one that for the Nelson Pavilion, we would be proposing and putting it right along the driveway.
Okay.
So if you were hoping for one next to the playground, that could be another project that could be proposed at the other agenda item.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions for Marty at this point? We'll probably have some moving forward. Do you have one right now?
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand. So we don't need to make a decision on any of this stuff or anything. It's just an
No.
FYI type of thing.
Correct.
And for-
Yeah,
for
there's no motion
discussion.
that we're looking
Okay.
for. What I'm looking for is there anything in the budget that you want me to relay to our city manager and mayor so that it can be discussed at the budget workshop meeting? So if there's something that's missing out of here that you feel very strongly about, what is that? And then I can ask for it to become a discussion item at the budget workshop.
So the only thing that I kind of question, I'm still getting to know everything, but like the pickleball facility, like we keep hearing about pickleball and I've heard so many times of the use of it. And so I see that struck. Obviously that's a big item. It makes sense. But is that going to eventually be something that,
Well, what we would do on any project that does not get funded, it gets automatically dumped back into our capital improvement plan for next year. But then what we do need to do is every year we have to start all over again and reprioritize where it falls. So at some point, if it keeps getting asked, at some point it probably gets funded if you ask for it long enough. But how long I can't tell you.
so the total cost of almost 2 million. Is that pretty typical for a maintenance type of schedule year to year? Or would you say this is high year, low year?
I would say it's kind of high,
Okay.
but I don't think that's a product of the number of projects. The number of projects that you're looking at tends to be about the number that we ask for. The cost of everything have exponentially jumped since before COVID.
Okay.
One thing I'd point out, if I know you're looking at that number, then take off about 500,000 because the green pieces are,
Oh,
you take out 500,000
Okay,
out of that,
yes,
just an
okay.
FYI.
Good point. Okay, that's all.
So like almost 25% we
Struck.
got knocked down. All right, any other questions from Marty or discussion? Connor?
Just back to the pickleball briefly. Like, if we were to, kind of like say, like, we feel this is like important, right? We'd like to see this because obviously it's been a thing for how long now, right? What I'm hearing, correct me if I'm wrong, is that pushing it out further and having you like recommend it to managers and whatnot, that really wouldn't ultimately do that much for it, right? Because it would just push it further down the road.
No, well, what would have to happen is, so if it doesn't get funded this year, we would dump it back into
Right.
next year in our capital improvement plan.
Right.
When the capital improvement plan comes through at the park board level, the park board would really need to look at it and say, this is a priority for us, therefore we want it higher on the list. Well, what happens then is when I go through the budget time, that priority list tells me, okay, this should go in before this.
Right.
So, but my philosophy, I've never been shy about my philosophy, is that we should fix things before we build new things. So, but ultimately, if it's something that you feel we should have and it should take a higher priority over fixing, say, an old playground, well, and that's your choice. You can certainly do that.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, like, I'm the teenager up here, right? So I'm going to be like, yeah, pickleball court, right? But, that's why we have all you guys. So,
But it's good to have the variety of
Yep.
voices.
yes,
And
yes, of course.
Absolutely.
The one thing I will just ask Marty, because just for clarification, that do we have a location earmarked already for that pickleball court, or do we not?
No, the only place that we have identified in a master plan of a park is Southwest. But I want to be very cautious in how I say this, but with if a new pickleball facility would come to fruition, there would need to be a discussion about where to put it. So my intent that I've always been suggesting is that it's to be determined. Good place is Southwest, but we need to sit down and analyze it first, where the best place would be.
Thank you. I had a feeling we had not designated a spot yet.
Right.
So there's a lot of steps beyond just make it priority one. So, all right, other discussion. Seeing none, it is a non-action item, so we'll move on to number 3. Consideration and possible action to approve Legion Park Disc Golf Course Improvement Request. I believe we have someone who'd like to speak on this issue. Should we start with the citizen?
I can do just a quick short. So I was approached by some of our disc golf users. They would like to see what they could do about initiating some improvements out at our disc golf course, which, I think it's great that they want to be involved in that capacity. Their original hope is that the city would fund it. In my memo, I mentioned, that we really don't have that money laying around. So we would either have to request it in next year's budget, which we still theoretically have time, but it would be tough to do, or we would have to find an alternative funding source, i.e. there's another agenda item coming up, or C, we could give authority to the group to go fundraise to do the improvements. So with that, I know the group is here and open and hear from them.
All right. I think we have to open the meeting before we have.
Move to open the meeting.
I'll second that. Any discussion around opening the meeting? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Our meeting is now open. Would Patrick Farron please step forward, and anyone else who'd like to address can speak after him?
I just sit right here.
Yes, please do. And then please state your name and address for the record.
Yes, my name is Patrick Farron. I live at 621 South Superior Street.
Thank you.
So we just want to know if we can get permission to make the improvements at the disc golf course which are 8 concrete pads and new signage. And if we get approved for that, then we'd love to have the city fund it. I did give you some numbers on that, and we have a quote from a business that has done work with the city before on installing those. And if not, then we will fundraise it ourselves, and we'll come up with the money and to have it done.
Does anybody have questions for Patrick? Is this a formal group or an informal group that you're coming tonight with?
Well, back in '97, we called ourselves Green Bay Area Disc Golfers, and we put in the course that's at Triangle, Baird's Creek. We put that course in, and we fundraised it and installed it ourselves. They didn't have concrete tee pads there because of the sledding hill. Concrete tee pads in a disc golf course really improve the look of a course. More people are more willing to play it. It's safer. You get your footing, wear and tear, longevity. So we feel like Legion Park, with all of if you ever go out there and witness, you'll see that there's people playing year round. We play year round there, and concrete would help with the footing with that. And when word spreads, more people are going to come and play it because it's more fun to play when you have the concrete tee pads. It'll get rid of I don't know if you've seen the photos that I took, you get rid of all the erosion around what are now the tee boxes, what are rubber pads, that we put those in a couple years ago with the help of a young man who did a Cub Scout or a Boy Scout Eagle Scout project. And I wish we would have done the concrete back then, but yeah, they're kind of wearing out. They're not even. They're slippery. The concrete would actually be bigger, and the footing would be better, and then it would get rid of all of the erosion around it, which would be nicer for the course. But I think the course deserves it. The park deserves it. I think it's like the flagship park of DPR. I lived here my whole life. We spent our childhood there. But you see, but it's just getting a lot of use, and I think that would be a great improvement for it. And the price is, for $3,900 just to put in 8 tee pads and have a professional come in and do it. And he basically told me we'd probably have it done in a day, And then as far as putting the new signs, that's drilling a hole, putting a 4x4 in, and putting the new signage on there. And same with if you wanted a welcome sign that showed a picture of the course with rules. I think Marty had mentioned too that you could put it on the bathroom right there. Jim mentioned that we have a printing facility in the city that could probably print that stuff, which would be a cost savings right there. Anyway, that's really what we want permission to move forward with it, and then we're hoping to get the funding through the city, but we will do it if we have to. But I believe when the initial course was put in, the city didn't pay for any of it. It was all funded, privately funded. So,
does anyone have questions for Patrick? Thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for bringing this forward, and hopefully we can get a path forward.
All right, thank you guys. So when will we know, if it's been approved for the improvements?
Probably in the next handful of minutes, because it's an action item tonight.
Oh, it is? Okay. I don't know how that works.
Yep. No, thank you for asking. So,
all right.
It is an action. It is an action item tonight. So, you'll hear us either vote it up, vote it down, or table it. Would probably be the 3 choices. So.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
And
Thank
then,
you.
as Marty alluded, we have a lengthy agenda. There are some funding items later on. So. You never know what's going to happen as the meeting progresses. So we might have an answer on funding as well later tonight.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Is there anyone else who wishes to address us under open session? All right, motion to go back into closed session is in order.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion carries. We're now back in closed session. Jim.
Thank you. I'd like to make a pitch for, to work some magic and try and find a way to fund this through the city. Just for historical perspective, this was totally driven by private donations. I actually coordinated all of that 10 years ago. At that time, I think there was a question whether it would be utilized. So I felt it was important to take that step. I didn't think it was going to get funded at the time. And the baskets are all fine. I think a few of them need to be straightened. People love the chips put on the floor, the base of the baskets. But this is a very small financial item, I think, for the benefit we would derive from it, both in aesthetics and safety. And just to share how popular it is out there, just the other night I went out and a guy had lost his disc and I found it and I called him and he was on the other end of the course and we kind of met up and talked for a while. And he explained that he started coming to that course during the pandemic because he was having a lot of health problems. And since then, playing disc golf almost every day, he's lost 50 pounds. He's off of his blood pressure medications. He's in much better health. And while we were sitting there, 2 groups of 8 to 10 adults and little children came and played the whole course. That's what it's like every day. Mm-hmm. And that area had not been really utilized for much of anything before this. But the bottom line is, I think these generous fellas, and I can help too, can raise the money for the signage and all of that part of it. But if we could somehow work those concrete pads in, I think we could elevate the appearance of this course to match everything else out at Legion. So many improvements at Legion, you just have to look at the playground. And I think it would be a really small expense to just bring this up to spec and kind of do something for the lots of people who use it.
Yeah.
Lots of old people like me, by the way, who don't want to fall down. But so that's my pitch. I'd like to see if there is some way we could work this into the budget.
Connor.
Well, I'd like to entirely 100% agree with you in the fact that this is a really, I think, at least from my time here, the lowest cost, highest reward project or endeavor that we could really move forward. And I've been out there specifically a lot recently with my friends playing golf, and there's just such a wide range of people that really use it. Like, even that's how my friends really found the sport, was through gym class. Like the competitive individual and dual team sports goes out there every day during gym class and plays, and that's how my friends found it and we got into playing. And I think that there certainly is a very good amount of people that come out there every day and a great variety of people that come out there every day. But with those kind of quality of life improvements, again, for the relatively low cost, I feel like they'd make a great, very significant difference to the overall playing experience. And it'd make it easier and more alluring and a better experience for like regular golfers, regular players, but more importantly, new players, people with their families who just want to go out and, have a good time, throw around a Frisbee, right? And obviously there's limited space, right? And it's already being made, and the space is already used well with the limited space we have, but just those small improvements would really make it, the whole aesthetic of it and the whole vibe of it would really, it'd bring the space to life. So I 100% believe that we should push this forward and make this a priority.
Jim.
Yeah, I forgot to mention the schools. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
But way back when, the gym teachers had to set these baskets up temporarily every day to go out there and set up a course. And they were very excited back in the day to get this course in where they could just walk over from the high school. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize that they're still using it every day for gym classes. So I don't know if they'd want to help contribute, but the school district.
It's like you just signed them up.
No.
But again, I think it's a really small expense given the usage.
Any other discussion? I'll move to approve the Legion Park Disc Golf Course improvement request, and hopefully we can address funding later. But right now, there will be no funding attached to this motion.
If I could second, I would.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Next item on the list, consideration and possible action to approve Pink Flamingo request to place a statue and plaque at Legion Park. Marty, do you want to?
Wait,
Wait a
skip
No.
one?
Oh, did I skip? Dang it, I hate it when I do that.
Skipped one.
Or-
Sorry, item 4, consideration and possible action on allocation of beer garden revenue. Thank you.
So if I could chime in, so on the memo that you have, if you look at the projects, a number of them are currently proposed to be in the budget. So I'm not sure that's where you would want to direct the funding. So there's a couple of projects that I think you can consider, or if you have something that's out there that is not on the list, you could certainly consider. And all of this would need to go to council for approval because it's an expenditure of funds. But the one is the portable ice rink. One thing to keep in mind with the portable ice rink, the dollar says $120,000. In actuality, there is a group that is out there that is willing to fundraise half of the cost. So keep that in mind. And if you've ever been around during the winter, we constantly receive complaints about why we don't have ice when it's 34 degrees. So try to politely explain to them we can't make water freeze above 32 degrees. But as comical as that seems, we get those calls quite a bit. This particular system allows you to have ice almost probably 3 to 4 months out of the year.
Cool.
So the other one, so I wrote some new ones down. The new one is obviously the Legion Disc Golf Course improvements. That one would certainly be a great potential project to be funded from the beer garden revenues. Some of the projects that have been cut that did not make the cut, which would include the Rotary gazebo and access path. I would probably recommend not to do that. And the reason I say that is what I'd like to do is bring that back for discussion as to whether we should improve it or remove it. Because right now it really doesn't get a whole lot of use, and I'd like to talk to Rotary if they would be interested and want it to stay there, or if it's something that it, was a facility that was put there with the intent of use and it just hasn't. So Optimist Park open shelter roof replacement, you could certainly consider that. The Nelson Pavilion bike rack and pad, that would be a very good one to do. Voyager electric extension, what that is for is if you are familiar with our holiday light show, every year with our sponsorship money, we're able to expand it a little bit. What we want to do is run new electric to a different part of the park to continue the expansion of those lights. So that's what that is for. Optimist storm drain installation. If you ever went to Optimist Park for a girls softball, on the backs, on the northwest corner, there's an access from a cul-de-sac. And what happens is there's a swale there. And when that's wet, that's not fun to walk through to get to the park. So people have constructed man-made bridges, which from the city's perspective and liability, we can't really have. So anytime we see this bridge, we're thinking, how long can we look the other way until we see it and have to remove it? So the storm drain, what it does is fills that swale in and takes all the storm water out. Other one is Voyager permanent trash receptacles. while we had beer gardens this year, we received a number of comments that, why do you have this nice, beautiful place and blue barrels all over? So I don't think we'll ever get away from that, because those barrels are there for special events. They're not there for everyday garbage. But the request was for permanent type, aesthetically pleasing garbage structures. Pickleball facility, you do not have enough for a pickleball facility. However, as I was sitting here and contemplating life, what is a potential option, and I don't know what the cost of it would be, but the number that you see here is the cost for a brand new facility. We've never priced out what would it cost to expand to VFW and or Legion. So if we were to add 2 courts to Legion Park, what would that cost? I can't guess what it would be. It would certainly be far less than $250. I don't know if it would be close to that $80,000 mark, but I mean, that is a possibility if you want me to research that over other options.
Are you talking about converting what's already there or
No.
new? Oh, okay.
No, what we would do is we would add to the facility. So we would add more pavement, paint it, put in pickleball nets and courts, and just expand. So at VFW, we have the ability to expand to the east, so towards the community center.
So you wouldn't want to convert?
No, we wouldn't. I would not recommend
It
it.
happened before, right? That's what they did.
The only reason we did that is because the facility had 3 tennis courts, and we took 1 tennis court and converted it to 2 pickleball courts. But tennis courts are still highly used in our city.
Okay.
So I would not want to get rid of more.
Shayna.
So we have this list in the agenda, and those are all items that are already in the budget.
Yes,
Why would we fund any of those items with this?
I'm not saying we should. The ones that I'm reading off to are ones that have been deleted, though.
Right. Yeah, so we'd want to pick from there
Correct.
to get more bang for our buck.
Correct.
Okay,
Yep.
just making sure that I
Yeah.
understood that.
So the ones that were eliminated, I think, are an option. The Legion Disc Golf is an option. Portable ice rink was on that list of project cuts. And then the one new idea that came about would be is maybe not a full pickleball facility, but the concept of adding to our current facility for more pickleball courts. So that's what you have, or if you have a new idea.
Shayna,
So then
sorry.
if we wanted to explore the pickleball court option, the expansion, we'd have to bring this up. We'd have to bring this back, right?
Correct. Yeah, I don't have a number for you because I literally just thought of it about 20 minutes ago. So,
Okay.
I mean, if you would want to table it and, if you would want to approve something right now of something you would certainly want, then whatever's left, table it, and I can go back and research what it would cost to expand and go from there.
Okay.
And if I'm reading your memo correctly, right, Marty, the dollar amount we have to work with is $87,600.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is
give or
very
take a
close to
couple of
that.
dollars, right, but-
I'm not going to say that's right to the cent, but it's very close to that.
All right. Elizabeth.
So is it a possibility to continue to set these aside to future years, or they want to get these spent? Like, if, let's say that you go down the path of, yeah, we can't add on, could we go for the whole pickleball facility? Just out of curiosity.
Great question. The best answer I have is I think so, but I do know that our finance director had said that it's not and I don't know the reason why, but it's not a good idea to sit on this for a long period of time. I can do research and ask if that's from our finance and legal and city manager, if that is an option. We have done that this came up because we ran beer gardens for probably 3-4 summers. We never spent any money because it wasn't really big enough to do something with it. Well, they finally said, hey, you got to do something. You can't let it sit here forever. So,
Because I wonder if we'd be able to take a commitment to council to say these are reserved for the intention of a pickleball court in a future year. You know what I mean? Like create that, but not just have it sitting there without a purpose. Make a purpose for it and commit it to that. But just out of curiosity.
all you can do is ask.
Yeah.
Other questions or comments? Shayna?
We usually don't like to do that though, like tying the hands of future council with
Correct,
just,
correct.
yeah.
Yeah. The however that I will say is that back when our previous city administrator was here, what he did is instead of bonding for the money to replace a shelter right away, this actually happened to Voyager. We put in money for Voyager to replace it. And he said, instead of borrowing $150,000 right now, we're going to put away $50,000 every 3 years and then build the restroom. Well, then everyone came up with the Nelson Pavilion idea and then that went away. But so it has been done, but to your point, you're right. It is a little gray area of trying to tie the hands of a future council.
Or a future park board.
Or a future park board, yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know if we're done discussing.
But if you want to throw something out there, throw something
I'll
out
throw
there.
something out there.
Sure.
I'd make a motion to approve the request made by the disc golf folks for the pads, and then table so that you can look into the pickleball option and bring it back to the next.
Can you provide I would ask that, like for the Legion Golf, that you approve like up to $5,000. You know, in that neighborhood, because I know what the quote says,
Yeah, it was
but
like
there could be,
$3,900 for the pads.
right, but then we could have costs for topsoil and things like that.
Okay,
So
so you
like
wanna-
$5,000 to me is probably a pretty good number to get that done.
Okay, so $5,000 in my motion, up to.
And then your motion would be to table the rest.
Yeah.
Pending further review and details from staff on a couple of projects, including pickleball and maybe whether we have a group that's going to do 60,000 on a portable ice rink or something else, right?
Yeah. I can follow back up with that group.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Maybe
just those 2 projects you want
Well, and then,
extra?
and then Randy threw in.
Well,
I'm
the
just-
Legion
I
for
mean,
sure, but then,
Yeah,
So
for them
Legion
to-
is funded for sure in yours, but then table the rest of the money.
Yes,
And we can just pending review of other projects on the list.
Right.
Leave it vague, maybe.
That's
Does that work?
yes.
Yeah, I know what you're looking for.
Right.
We want a cost estimate on adding a pickleball facility and confirmation from the fundraising group for the portable ice.
Before we
facility.
decide where we're going to go with the rest of the money, because maybe some of these other extension of electricity or bike pad or whatever. But let's find out, let's get some more details on these other things before we come back and make a decision. Does that make sense?
we need a second though.
I'll second that.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Any further discussion? Jim?
Wait a minute.
Oh, nope.
Are you voting to table it?
We are voting to approve $5,000 for the Legion Disc Golf Course improvements, T-pad improvements, and we are tabling the rest of
We're
the,
referring back to staff.
does that work?
You should refer back.
Refer back.
Refer, okay.
Yeah.
Refer- There we go. We'll
Because if
refer
you're
the,
tabling it, what I fear is our legal will say, well, if you're tabling the item, then the 5,000 can't go forward for approval to
all right.
council.
So we'll just, there we go. So we'll
Refer
just
back to staff.
refer back to staff for further details, further information.
So you're approving 5,000 for Legion Golf Course, and then staff will review and bring back.
Investigate details for other options for spending the beer garden
Very good.
revenue.
Yeah, good call.
Thanks.
I do have one question.
Sure.
If we're still in discussion. Are the Nelson Pavilion bike rack and pad a serious need? I mean, because we're going to have more beer gardens, and is that something that's, we should
Well-
really, it's not a big item.
Can I speak to it? As someone who rides her bike to the
Sure.
garden, there's plenty of space to park
Okay.
bikes.
All right.
I mean, that's just what we do now. We just kind of bike them up to an empty spot and
Yeah.
park them.
Do you lock them? Or
Well, no, because we're right there.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of what I see people doing.
Where the idea came from is we had a fair amount of people ride their bikes, but 2 or 3 times this summer, we actually had bike clubs
Yeah, I noticed.
come to the event. You know, and then so it went from like 10 bikes to like 60 bikes that were there. So if it's 10 bikes, I think people can figure it out. But if there becomes 60 bikes, it almost becomes a clutter with where does all that go?
But to that point, sorry.
Go right ahead.
I mean, if we put a bike pad in, it's not gonna accommodate that many bikes anyway.
No,
Yeah,
So.
no, not at all.
okay.
Yeah.
Thanks. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Moving on to item 5. Consideration possible action to approve Pink Flamingo request to place a statue and plaque at Legion Park. Marty, do you want to, is there anything?
Well, the statue is very similar to the statue that you see in the alley over by Nicky's. And the recommendation from myself would be is that it would go on top of our concrete scoring facility. That way it's a little out of the way from inviting vandalism, if you will. So other than that, I mean, the memo explains it pretty well. There's 2 people that started the Pink Flamingo, so a very brief plaque explaining those 2 people and their benefit, to the organization and what it's done for the community.
I don't think it's going to change the aesthetics of the park or the ball field or anything.
It won't have anything to do with the ball field whatsoever. I'm not going to lie, it's going to look it ain't going to look the same. I mean, big Pink Flamingo sitting on top of the score shack, but I would not sit here and tell you that it was going to look bad. I mean, I think it'll look kind of cool.
I'm excited.
Probably tie into the scoreboard pretty well, so. Right, do they have Flamingo on the scoreboard? I think they do, right? No?
That's one of those
don't
things
know.
where I've
I know,
looked at
like
it
I've been there,
1,000
I thought,
times, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Jim, did you have a question or
Yeah, I
comment?
think it'd be almost better on top of the scoreboard, because I've seen people climbing on that. That's
Well,
I mean,
the Flamingo structurally would not be able to go on top of our scoreboard.
because the other one I saw, I guess on the Pure Community Connect or something, that keeps getting damaged.
No, it hasn't.
The one at the alley, but I think that's better
The
now
other
that
day
there's
it
a.
was damaged again. Yeah.
Well, I know it's been better since the camera has been put up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I worry about vandalism. That's why I suggest that it goes on top of the score shack, because if it was just sitting out there on a concrete pad, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
And there is a security light that's on it. So, and we do have pretty good neighbors in that area that like calling into the police, which I have no problem with that. If someone wants to be, I'm sorry for the language, but if someone wants to be stupid when they're out there, they should have the police called on them.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 6, consideration and possible action to approve Rainbow Park Playground Addition.
So real quick, after we've been through all the bills, we do have about $5,100 left and for Rainbow Playground. And with $5,100, I gave you 3 options. There's really 4 options. Do nothing, just let the money sit where it is. Or you can look at the 3 options that I provided to you. So there's the big, large, cool chair. There's more benches, which I know have already been asked for in the neighborhood. And then there is a bench shade combo that not only provides a bench that people have been asking for, but they've also been asking for shade. So with that, have at it.
Elizabeth.
I know some of the people in this neighborhood, and Marty gave me the heads up on this item. So I did pass that along, and they all came back and said benches.
Oh.
They did not say which one, but I can say that I have been there, and the amount of kids' water bottles that littered the one bench, and it was before they did the landscaping, so you couldn't pull the picnic benches up there yet. But I mean, I can say that I wasn't sitting down and I would have liked to sit down. So there's a lot of grandparents that I think are there, and just older people that, coming through with kids and whatever. Mm. So I do think that there's an overwhelming want for the benches.
Or so too.
What's that?
Our family used to visit there when we lived in our old neighborhood, and so I asked my wife. I said, we've been at Rainbow Park numerous times when our children were very young. I said, of these three items, which would you prefer? And I didn't talk dollars or anything. I said, which would you prefer? And she said, I think this, she goes, a swing with a canopy would be awesome. And when I think about like grandparents and things, like there's something you can do with a grandchild is swing in a swing. That's
Well, it's not a swing, it's a bench.
Oh, it's a bench.
bench.
Okay.
So it just
looked
has shade.
Okay.
It does look
But a bench with a canopy is a nice piece. But I mean, either way, I agree with Elizabeth that like when we were there, more benches just about at any playground.
Yeah.
Every playground. But I like the canopy piece. It's been a few years since I've rolled through there. There's often a lack of shade around playgrounds because we don't like trees and poured in place. Weird. No, not weird. Makes sense not to have trees around there. So I think like a canopy area would be awesome. But I think either, the benches or the canopy bench, I think would be great.
So my one question with them is, so we can do 3 benches, and I'm assuming you would like kind of stagger, or like they'd be spread all throughout, whereas the canopy would obviously just be one of them. And from being at that park, there are trees around there, but I think as soon as the sun shifts, like you're done with it. But
Yeah.
if we were strategic in where we put the benches, it would at least provide some shade at different times. Not perfect, but yeah. And then the neighbors did say, could they get, because there's only one picnic bench that goes to each of the parks, right? They did ask if they could get 2, if that was a possibility in their text, but that's different for this. But that's just, they're saying, how many people, like, I know that I've seen people go there and eat lunches many, many times in the summertime.
Yeah, we can work on the table. I bring this up because it's a very popular program, but I can't guarantee this. So when I explain it, you'll understand. So we have a memorial bench program, and I don't know why, but over the last probably 5 years, it is just insane. 10 years ago, we'd do like 1 bench every 2 years. Now we're doing, I think on average, probably almost 7 or 8 memorial benches a year. And we try to push these benches to our playgrounds. So it'd be great to steer memorial benches to the playground, because then you could take the money and put it towards play value. But I can't sit here and guarantee that someone's going to want a memorial bench at Rainbow Playground. So it would be a chance you'd have to take. But if, again, it's your call, whichever way you want to go.
Connor.
Is there like a queue or anything, like people like waiting in line for like memorial benches, or it's just like kind of get one when you want one?
There's no one in line, so to speak, like waiting to have one. So we have a number of memorial benches that we're currently working on, but their location have already been identified and such.
Okay.
So we're just waiting. It seems like every other 2 months, another one comes in. So they come in very regularly, but whether or not they want Rainbow Playground or not, I don't know.
Right.
Jim.
Is it possible to get a message out to people in that neighborhood who maybe have had grandparents who took out their kid there every day, every week for years, and they've passed, and maybe somebody would want to?
Well, we certainly can, but it gets very complicated. Right now the topic is, how do you want to spend the $5,100? If it's on benches, it doesn't make any sense to do that. Right. If the thought process is we want play value and put up, say, that chair, then it makes sense to reach out to the neighborhood and try to not force people, obviously, but let them know about the memorial bench program.
Shayna.
So if we decided to go with benches, we probably wouldn't be installing them this year yet, would we?
Possibly. Yeah.
Because, would it make
'Cause
sense
those-
to delay a decision on it? And
ultimately, that's up to you guys. We can ask to carry the money over.
But if we want to, if we're looking at like a variety of options, if we went with like the bench with canopy, which is a more expensive option, the $1,500 benches are probably more in line to get like a memorial sponsorship, so to speak.
Well, and I'm looking more at the fun Adirondack style chair that we maybe hold out for because memorial benches might come in.
I'm just thinking like Elizabeth did a little boots on the ground work, and I would love to make sure we, to some degree, address.
Right, and I'm just saying, like, if we're not expecting to install anything yet this year, then why not just wait and see if we get any memorial benches between now and spring? And if we don't, then we put in the benches. But if we do, then we have some money to play with. But I don't care. I don't really care either way.
Or do you put 2 of the benches and then put the rest to the disc golf? You know what I mean? Like, or something like that. Like,
Yeah, it gets a little sticky with that. I mean, when we use our money for this project, when it's done, it's done. It goes back into the capital projects fund where we don't really get to redirect it, so to speak.
Is there like a way, I guess this is kind of 2 questions, but the memorial benches, it's like a bench with like a plaque on it, right? Like saying this is dedicated, right? So is there a way in which we could like, this could kind of solve 2 problems at once when we just put like a blank bench down or 2 or 3 benches, and then when someone wants it, we could be like, okay, we have an available one here, but they might not want it at Rainbow Park.
Yeah, I thought about that. The dilemma that we have is if we were to, let's just say we're going to buy 3 benches and someone wants a memorial bench there, can we just stick the plaque on that bench? Because essentially we would put that type of bench in with a plaque on it. The problem we have is that when they pay the money, I can't take that money, put it in the bank, and then go and buy that chair another day. So we kind of have to make a decision and go one way.
All right, I'm going to make a motion for the bench with canopy. Is there a second on that or not?
I'll second that.
Thanks. Discussion around that.
So you have an interesting predicament. You have 4 of you. So you would need 3 to 1 to have it pass.
Yep. Any further discussion on the bench with canopy? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And try to get some memorial benches in there.
That's
Yeah.
kind of like, that's the goal. Like we can have a variety of options.
The chair was just too cool.
It is.
I really like the
I
chair.
like the staff like the chair.
You mean the Adirondack?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know, I did
Something
too.
different.
The only thing about the Adirondack is it just screams tourist to me. And I think about when you put it in a neighborhood. Yeah, that's what I think of. I've taken pictures on all those chairs, and I just think about it in that neighborhood, and I'm like, I don't know. A Voyager, 1,000%.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where I would agree with Elizabeth on that. To me, that's
Yeah.
the Adirondack chair is more of a high profile focal point park area. Like what about like at the foot of the old bridge at the end of George Street? In the green
On
space
Broadway?
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to cut everybody off, but
Yeah, this is not.
We got to move on.
Yeah.
Moving on. 7, consideration possible action to approve the Wilson Park grant from the David and Rita Nelson Foundation.
So exciting. I'll make.
Marty, I had no idea we were doing this, so thank you to staff for reaching out and
well, myself and the mayor have actually been talking with, we haven't been able to say anything, but we've been talking with them for probably 8-9 months already.
so well done. So you and the mayor, well done.
I'll make a motion to approve the grant. Right? It's being
Yep.
a recommendation. Yeah.
Second.
Further discussion. Is this where I talk about are we renaming the park or do we save that for another day?
We're not renaming the park.
That's another day, right?
Yeah, please.
They didn't want.
I know the David and Rita Nelson Foundation had no interest in renaming the park.
Okay.
I know there's another group that has expressed some interest, but that has nothing to do with the grant.
Okay. Further discussion on approving the grant for Wilson Park. I'm excited.
Me too.
Joe Nix should be excited. All those in favor say aye.
I,
Any opposed? Motion carries.
does he know? Did you call him?
I haven't. I told him, he asked me if I could share information, but I'm like, you can find out when the park board, I didn't want to tell him before you knew. So I'll try to send him him and Mr. Anderson an email tomorrow.
Super. Thanks, Marty. Item 8, consideration possible action to approve conducting a survey for residents to provide options for a park name for the Waterview Heights Subdivision Park.
If you want me to chime in, I can. I feel like I'm banging my head against a wall on this one. I'm not going to lie. So I've reached out a number of times to McKim and actually have talked McKim Boyd and talked to him a number of times. Bottom line is the message I got from them is that there are no names that they have that stand out. And so in all of my research and digging, there's nothing that seemed to gain like momentum that everybody was enthused about it. I'm not a big fan of asking the neighborhoods because like what happens if everyone rounds up and says, we want to call it Mark's Big Boy Park? You know, then are you forced to accept that name?
No.
I don't think that would happen, but there's a potential of a name come out that you don't want. You still have the choice to pick what you want, but so anyway, I'm kind of at a loss because I can't seem to find anyone where I can find a name that gains traction. So this is the next idea.
Jim. Hi. Sorry. There we go.
I have to ask this. I had suggested Henry Cady Park. Did somebody somewhere along the line think that was inappropriate for consideration?
I don't know about that. Now, at the park board level, I will say this. I did not gather a sense that the park board, if the park board was heavy in favor of that, I was making the assumption that they would have voted to do that right away. In talking to McKim from the Historical Society, I got the sense they were a little shy of, I don't want to speak for McKim, so I guess I have to be very cautious with this. I got the impression that they were not in full support of that person's name for naming the park. And you would have to ask them as to why, but that's just the sense that I got.
I will ask him because I know they have written stories about this young man. After learning about him, I just feel I'm compelled to continue to advocate for this. Maybe popular, may not, but this young man joined the Union Army, died for his country. He's not memorialized anywhere else that I can find out and honored in that way. And he grew up right around there. I think it meets a lot of criteria. Cady Park is a short name, so it's not something that's going to be real hard to deal with. It provides history. It provides a teaching opportunity. And it's very local to that area. And I thought you had said earlier you didn't want to really open this up to a survey because you don't know what you're going to get.
And which is what I kind of reaffirmed, but
I don't prefer that. And I'm not going to be ashamed of continuing to say, I like this idea and I think we should consider it. And I would also consider other ideas, but I think we should come up with the ideas here. I really do. Based on Historical Society or our own ideas or input from, people.
Well, at this point, it would really need to come from the park board because I have talked in length with the Historical Society and they have not provided any options for consideration.
Shayna.
I was still under the impression that they were still working on that, though. You sure?
I can again follow up with McKim.
Because I thought Patrick Boyd was working on it.
Yeah, the last time that I talked with McKim, he had said they have not been able to, now, he had said they had not been able to find anybody from the west side. And McKim's position is that it should be someone from the west side. Now, maybe that's not his call, but they have not been able to find a name that is significant enough to really gain traction for that. So I can follow up again, though.
I just saw him like 2 weeks ago, and he told me he was looking through our all of our parks on our website and doing research. That was Patrick. What Patrick was, because he's on our Historic Preservation Commission, and it almost sounded like he was passed the buck to work on it. That's
And that would be news to me, because the last time I talked with McKim, they were struggling to find anybody.
okay. I also thought that there was a question of whether or not he was a resident, Katie. A
He
city
grew up.
resident.
Well, there wasn't a city at the time.
Or there was, maybe that was the issue then, that because he wasn't a city resident, that it was something like that.
Yeah,
That came up in conversation, but, which is why
In
maybe
the-
we should just.
yeah.
send-
In the research that I had, there was no verification of where. They just said he grew up in De Pere.
Okay.
But back then, that could mean quite a bit. So I could not find any verification of where he physically was born and raised.
He joined a regiment in West De Pere, the 85 volunteers. And he's buried in the cemetery a mile from there. And that's where he grew up. I mean, you couldn't get much closer if you wanted a West Side person.
Sure.
I guess at some point I would just appreciate a yay or a nay or an up or a down vote on that. And I kind of wish everybody would have more suggestions. I know Elizabeth, you had a suggestion
Yeah.
a couple meetings ago as well.
I had a suggestion. I had a female suggestion. You know, I think we have suggestions out there. I think the problem is more that there's not like a policy surrounding. We've never named parks for historic figures, right? I mean, we've named them for individuals who have had a significant impact on Parks and Rec. So I guess that's where I get a little hung up, is like, moving forward, then how do we handle the next one? Then the next one after that. I think there needs to be some kind of precedent, and I liked the idea of getting a list or some kind of a list where we could, from the Historic Preservation Commission or somebody, where we had this list of 10 names where we could go through and make a decision based on that, but we don't have that right now.
So with the item we have on the survey, do we want to say thumbs down to the survey of the community? Do we want to say thumbs up?
Yeah, the action item
The
that
action
you
item
have
is
is
the
to do a
the
survey or
community
not to do a survey.
So
I would move to not have a community survey at this time.
I'll second.
discussion around that. Did you get that? All right, thanks, Grace.
I just have one question,
Sure.
and I think we confirmed this already. I don't know, whenever we were talking about it. But right now there's a lot of dirt in that area, right? Like, it's not even like this there's still a lot of houses to be built in that area.
There are, but I would say the southern half of the subdivision is pretty built up,
Developed. Okay.
and the north half is starting.
Okay.
So, we're probably, if they are to stay on the pace that they've been on, within 2 years, the whole park will be consumed by homes. That's a if.
Yeah.
If.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And we do have $200,000 in the budget for 2026 to develop the park, correct?
To start.
To start.
So that basically puts us in our playground. So if you remember, there's 3 components. It'll put in the playground, the sign, and accessible route to the playground.
Okay. And that would be in construction 2026 time, which is
Correct.
spring, summer of 26.
Correct.
So we have a timeline to work from. Yeah, ish. Any further discussion around the motion to, on the table? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
I-
Any opposed? The motion carries. There will not be a
No
survey.
survey.
Number 4, staff update. Staff update on donation from BCCWC.
We received the $700 donation. So
Thank you.
the memo's there.
Yep.
So we received it from the Brown County Community Women's Club, basically given to the community center.
So thank you to them and Betsy Witten, the president, for that generous donation for our community center. Staff update on 2025 beer garden.
I won't
Don't bore
recap
us
this
with
unless
the-
you really, really want me to.
Anything from Marty's memo anyone has a question on? I think you have some good ideas moving forward. Can't wait to see if we take the beer garden on the road somewhere, probably on the west side, see what happens. Staff update on the 2025 holiday light event.
So yeah,
Book your calendars, right?
dates are set. The
There you go.
walking portion is going to be December 11th. We'll do a ceremonial turning on of the lights, provided that the weather's cooperative, not like last year. We have 15 to 20 new displays that'll be coming. We're working on a few other kind of cool ideas. I don't know if I should.
Don't do it then.
I
Don't
won't
do
spill the
it.
beans.
Don't do it.
There is, so last year we had something really cool. If you remember, we had the
Really,
largest,
really big, something really big.
largest inflatable Santa in the state of Wisconsin. No one's proved me wrong, so I'm going to keep going with it. This year we are going to have something very, very neat and different. So, but that's all I will say. You have to come and see it.
December 11th is the lighting and the walkthrough. December 12th and the 14th, and December 18th through the 23rd. Let's see if we can get more cars through this year than last year. Be an awesome event again. All right, future agenda items for Marty, because he does not have enough from what we've tasked him with yet.
Well, I'm assuming we need to discuss naming of the park.
Yes,
And obviously, the other topic would be the beer garden revenues.
yes,
What's the 82,000 ish?
Anything else for Marty? Seeing none, a motion to adjourn is in order.
So moved.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
I
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned.